Started. Good to see all of you. I'm so glad that you're here. And I hope I have what is a treat for you tonight, which is an experience of restorative yoga. And so in most of our classes, we're up and moving around and we're flowing and we're breathing, and it's really great. And trust me, we'll get back to that in another class. Today, I'd like to offer you restorative yoga postures, which instead of actively stretching, which is what we do in like a classical yoga practice, this requires passive stretching. And so we'll use some everyday props found around your house to allow you to just relax into certain poses so that gravity and your ability to relax, which we'll work on, don't worry, will let you open up. And it doesn't mean we're being lazy or anything like that, or we're just laying around not doing anything. What I found with restorative yoga, having practiced it many, many times over the last 2 decades, is that sometimes the stretches are way deeper than I would ever get if I were trying to actively stretch something in my body. Okay. And so, what you may need in order to do this today is, again, I'm not going to use yoga props because not all of us have all the yoga props at home. All right. And so, what you'll want is two regular bed pillows. I literally just pulled these right off my bed a couple moments ago. And maybe like one or two like throw blankets, just something like a little bit thicker, something you'd cover up with on the couch. So one or two of those, that should be enough for today. So go ahead and take the next couple of moments to gather your props so that you can have them nearby, and I'll just banter until you get back. So again, a couple of bed pillows, one or two thick blankets, something that you'd use on a blustery winter's evening to keep you nice and warm. Good. Yeah, I try to pick props that we would just have lying around. And usually, from what I've heard from folks, this is a good barometer or a good amount of things that people usually have lying around. They're a couple pillows and a couple blankets. And definitely, if you go to like a restorative yoga class, like a yoga studio, they'll have tons more props that you can use. But these are actually pretty good. These are pretty good. So we're going to give these a try. Okay. So I don't know if everybody's back. So we're just going to start by getting centered. And whenever you get back to the room, just join us. Okay. So to start, we are going to get centered, sitting on maybe one of those blankets if you'd like to. Your legs can be crossed, they can be extended forward, whatever works for you for this moment. Letting your eyes close. And just start to tune in to this experience. Your body sitting here, your breath in your body, that sense of expansion and contraction. And then, of course, noticing how your mind is today. Does it feel frantic? Does it feel tired? Maybe it feels both, which feels weird, but does happen. Restless and tired at the same time. We're heading into practicing restorative yoga today. Do you need restoration? Do you feel like that's something that your system is calling for? Are you tired, exhausted, burned out? Are you having a hard time resting, sleeping, getting the mind to quiet, if not turn off? And even if none of that is true, even if you're feeling pretty good, you'll still get something from this practice. You'll still fill your cup as yoga does for us. Just noticing where you fit currently into that idea of needing or desiring this experience. And know that any parts of you that need relief, or restoration or rest, we will bring that to those parts of you. And maybe there's some parts of you that were hoping for a more energetic practice. That's okay too. You still might feel energized by this. That's often the case. When you're ready, go ahead and take a deeper, fuller breath. Bring your palms to your heart, honoring all the parts of you, body, breath, energy, and mind, and letting this practice be in service of that. So rubbing the palms together, creating heat. Bring those warm palms over your eyes and brushing over the top of your head and down your neck, bringing yourself back to your space. Welcome back. Good. So nobody added while we were in there, so I don't need to tell you about props again. So for the first practice we're going to do, I'm going to ask you to bring both of your pillows to your mat. Okay, and I have two regular bed pillows. Literally pulled these off my bed. And there's the open side of your pillowcase. There's the closed side of your pillowcase. You're going to stack the pillows on top of each other with the closed side pointing toward your body. And so eventually I'm going to come to lay down on this. And so backing up, the way that we'll do this is like I'll demonstrate and then I'll come up and then instruct you into it. Okay. So you can just watch me first. So I'm going to just bring pillow stacked, the seam side toward me, and I'm going to bring my back to the pillows. Okay. Now I'm going to press down on the pillows behind me and just recline my body down over them. Okay. Now there's a few things you can do with your legs once you get here. The first thing is to just extend them forward and just allow the arms out to the sides, just feeling the chest open. Another thing you can do if you want to is to bring the soles of the feet together in butterfly and just allow the hips start to open. Okay. Now this can be intense for some folks, and if it is, you can either not do it or you can take your feet a little bit further forward, and that takes the pressure out of the hips a bit. Okay. So your turn. And we're going to be here for about 3 to 4 minutes. So again, pillow stacked, same side towards you. You have your back to the pillows. You're going to reach back and just press them down. And then just begin to recline your body slowly down, one vertebrae at a time, until you feel nice and snug on top of these pillows. Now, staying with the upper body first, let your shoulders open. Let your arms relax out to the sides, palms face up. Now for the waist down, again, you can extend your legs forward like you would for Shavasana, our final resting posture that we normally do. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together in butterfly. And again, if that feels too intense for you, you can take your feet further away from your hips, and that'll take some pressure out of the hips while still stretching them. And if at the end of the day this does not feel right for you, just extend the legs. Okay. Now, as you find your posture, I want you to find some stillness. Of course, make any adjustments you need to be comfortable here. But once you've found that spot, let yourself just be here. Now, with restorative yoga, the less you effort, the further you go. And so, if you want this to be the deepest experience you can be, the deepest stretch, you have to do literally the least. But the body has a hard time letting go sometimes. So, especially for this first practice, this first exercise, I'll guide you through some just awarenesses in your body and let go of any tension you find there if you can. So relax your feet. If your feet and legs are in butterfly, see if you can just relax any gripping in the glutes or up into the hip flexors. See if you can relax the muscles of your pelvis and front abdomen, creating a soft belly. And just keep relaxing. I just saw a couple people join the room. If you're new to the space tonight, just grab a couple of bed pillows. We're doing restorative yoga. For those of you already resting, just let your chest relax, the shoulders dropping back. Relax your arms and hands, your throat, your jaw, your eyes. And we'll stay here for about another minute or so. And just keep relaxing. Keep letting go. And keep breathing. And just a few more breaths, relaxing into this posture. You might find your mind starting to slip away. That's okay. It's okay. We don't need the mind right now. Or I should say, we don't need it to do anything. Good. So when we come out of a pose that's restorative, the first movement is just the thought of movement, kind of mentally preparing yourself to shift. So just let yourself know that we'll be moving shortly. And the second movement is the deepening of your breath. Take a deeper, fuller breath, please. Now, if your legs are in butterfly, extend them to the ground. You could also bend the knees, feet flat on the floor. You're just going to roll off to the side of the pillows. Either direction's fine. And then take your time from here as you peel yourself up to a seat. So as you come to a seat, just notice how you feel. That's only one posture. We have plenty more to do tonight, but you already might start to feel yourself really start to relax. You might feel tired. You actually might feel even a little bit restored from that single posture. One of my favorite ones to do. Um, if you're new to the room, again, we'll need a couple of bed pillows and at least one, if not two, like folded throw blankets, like something you'd curl up with on a cold winter's evening. So for this next exercise, you're going to need both pillows again, possibly only one, but I'll show you what we're doing and you can decide later. And you'll probably need your blanket as well. Okay, not to cover up with. So have it folded, kind of like a shallow pillow, and just have that over there at the end of your mat. Your two folded or your two stacked pillows will be right here in the center of your mat. And our goal is to bring the side of our hips to the center of this. So I'll show you what that looks like. That's kind of Kind of have to like negotiate where that is on your on your mat. But basically, my hip bone is going to rest in the center of the pillows, and my legs are going to extend down to the floor, and I'm going to lay on my arm here. Okay. Now, what you can do, since you can kind of see my neck is kind of at a crooked angle here, that's where you bring this blanket underneath. And I can't really do this with the headset, so I'll just do this for a second. And you're just going to lay here. So the spine or the neck is in line with the spine. Now, what you can do also here, if it feels kind of awkward, like you're going to kind of fall forward or back, is you can just separate the legs a little bit to create more of a tripod, if you will. And it's just creating just a gentle stretch along the top side of the body. Okay. So setting that up with you, pillows in the center of your mat. And if it feels too high when you get into it, you can remove one of the pillows. That's what I meant earlier when I said you might just need one. But you can start with two and find out. And again, just kind of prop your hip up in the center of the pillow stack. And it might not feel like it's doing much at first, but just trust it is. And then recline. It doesn't matter what side you start on. I know I didn't really say which side to do. We'll do both, don't worry. Good. Again, if you need a pillow or a blanket underneath your head, it's good to keep the neck in line with the spine. And again, you can separate the legs if you need to, or if it feels stable to have the legs stacked, that's fine. And something that people often aren't sure what to do about here is the top arm. And that arm can just hang out in front of you here on the floor. It can hang out on the side of your body, just somewhere where it feels non-effortful, where it can just relax a bit. And you can let your eyes close if you want to. If your eyes are open, just relax your eyes. As you relax the rest of your body as well, especially the top hip. Now, because we relaxed the body pretty deeply in the last exercise, it might not take as long this time to really let go of effort. And if that's feeling true for you, and it's okay if it's not, but if it's feeling true for you, I'd like you to start to breathe to your belly, not in a forced, effortful way, but allow the belly to soften. And as you inhale, feel it inflate, the diaphragm drawing downward, the belly expanding, the diaphragm relaxing, the belly relaxing. And as I mentioned before, it's okay if the mind just kind of does its thing. The only caveat I'd give it is that if it starts to go somewhere that causes anxiety, pull it back to the breath in the belly. But if it's just like randomly thinking of like song lyrics or something, just let it do that. It's okay. It's just unwinding. Same as the body. And as you start to relax, you might actually feel that just slight stretch or elongation on the top side of the body, whatever side is stacked on top. Maybe it feels like a gentle pulling at the hip. Now, again, your first movement is just simply the thought of it, knowing that soon you will shift. The second movement is just a deepening of your breath. And then, when you're ready, very carefully begin to come out of the pose, coming up onto your elbow and just lifting yourself up to a seat. And feel sensation, what's going on after that one. And especially since we just did one side, you might actually feel kind of an imbalance physically in your body. And trust, we will fix that here shortly. And we'll do that right now, okay? And so for you, you can just keep everything where it's at and just roll to the other side if you'd like to. I'm going to flip to the other side so I'm facing the camera. So whatever works best for you. We're just going to come do the exact same pose on the other side. It's going to be lovely. And so I'll just do this with you since we already practiced it on one side. So just propping your hip, the center of your pillow stack. And it's okay to make sure that's the right spot for you. And then extend your bottom arm down. Bring that blanket into position and just relax your head down on that blanket if you need it. If you don't, you can even bend the elbow and do a little crook here with your elbow if you want to. I like the blanket. And then you can do whatever you need to with your legs to feel stable here. You can separate them, you can have them stacked. And then this top arm, find a place where it can simply relax. Sometimes it's on top of the body, sometimes it's hand forward. Find where it can just be effortless. And that might take a moment or two. It's really good to spend the first few moments in these postures really just finding what needs to be changed to be just even 10% more comfortable. And then start to let go of that effort. Relaxing the body, relaxing any gripping, any holding. And because this is a different side, it might take a different amount of time to achieve that more relaxed state physically. However long it takes, take that amount of time. And then see if you can soften your belly to really allow the breath to manifest in the abdomen. Expanding forward, inhale, relaxing, exhale. And again, the mind can do whatever it wants so long as whatever it's doing doesn't cause activation to your nervous system. So we're not trying to plan or figure anything out. But if it's just whimsically moving, just let it do that. And anytime it needs to be rerouted, bring it back to the soft belly. Staying here for just a little bit longer. Again, you might feel that slight elongation on the top of the body. Letting your body know that we'll be moving shortly. When you're ready, taking a deeper, fuller breath. And taking your time as you slowly peel yourself up, coming back to a seat. It's tempting just to like leave you there and just like let you sleep. But there's more goodness to have. And might be good news for you is that for the next exercise, you can leave the setup the exact same way it is. And so our goal with the last exercise, so on both sides, is to start to open up your hips a little bit here. And one part of your body that gets quite tight, especially if you're sitting a lot, is the front of your hips. And so this next exercise will help us to stretch that out. So the blanket at the end of your mat is going to just become a pillow, kind of like it was before. And I'm going to come to sit. And again, you can just watch me first. Sit on the edge of my pillows. So toward the edge of here. So that when I lay back, my hip bones are about centered on the pillows. And so it's kind of like again, like Shavasana, our resting posture, but the hips are slightly elevated. And over time, the front of the hips will start to open up a little bit here. Okay. Now I'll throw an adjustment here if you want to. If this feels like it's not high enough, which you might need to stay for a few breaths to really know, you could bring another blanket folded underneath your hips to create a little bit more height. Now, conversely, if it feels too high, remove one of the pillows. Okay. So again, coming to sit on the edge of the pillows, kind of like you're going to meditate. And then just relaxing down. Again, you want the center of the hips or the two ilium, the hip bones, at the center line of the pillows. And just, you don't have to like check that deeply. Just make sure it's somewhat in the center. Good. And then let the heels be about mat width apart. Really let them be open. Let the toes flop out to the sides. Your arms are resting by your sides, palms face up. Good. And again, you can have the blanket underneath your head if you want to. If that feels like it's too much on your neck, you can just not do that. And take a deep breath in and out. Just relax into the floor, feeling that gentle raising up of the hips. Now, in my experience, people either love this one or hate it. There's very little gray room. I personally love it, but if you have a lot of tension here, this might not be the most comfortable thing on earth. So, unlike the other postures where you can really just soften into, you might really have to work a bit harder mentally to let yourself stay here. And so, the way that we do that is by softening the breath. So, letting the belly be soft, noticing when there's discomfort present, just breathing with it. Letting that breath reach the belly. Softening in here a little bit. This might be a bit TMI for folks, but this is also a good one to do if you're experiencing constipation. Take some pressure out of the pelvis, just allowing that compactness to like let go a bit. Just put that in your pocket, save it for later. Making sure the mind isn't anywhere where it's too busy. Feeling that gentle stretch in the front of the hips, the pelvis, the belly, the tops of the thighs. And again, letting the first movement be the thought of it. Momentarily will begin to shift. And then take a deeper, fuller breath into your belly. Good. And so for this one, I like to bend my knees, feet flat on the floor, and then just roll to a side. It doesn't matter which one, and kind of roll off the pillows. And then from there, taking your time, using your hands and arms as support to bring you up to a seat. Take your time with that transition. Hmm. Good. All right. So I hope you're enjoying this because I sure am. All right, for the next one, we are going to use both pillows again and maybe a blanket. Just have it nearby. I'll demonstrate, and you can decide. So this is going to be a restorative twist. So for this one, I'm going to be sitting somewhere central on my mat with my feet about mat width apart. Now the pillows, um, if they start out straight behind you like they did before, you're going to turn them out to an angle in the direction you're twisting towards. So for the demonstration, I'm going to be twisting to the right and I'm going to keep spinning around. Okay. And so for this one, the pillows are kind of shooting off of my right hip at an angle. So the knees go to the right, the pillows are off to the right a little bit as well. So when I twist around, I can compress the pillows toward my abdomen and begin to drape my body down over the pillows. Okay. Now, if you need some support here for the head, you can bring that folded blanket and bring it to the end of your pillows. And the head can go in either direction. It can face forward, but if you have the rotation of your spine, you can look behind you. But that can get some intense sometimes, all right? So let's go ahead and come into this. And let's, if you're not already in it, if you're in it, just stay in it. But if you're not in it, let's all go the same direction so my instructions make sense. So if you're sitting on your mat, you're going to have your pillows behind you and off to your right side, okay? And if that doesn't make sense when you get there, you did the wrong side, it's okay. You can move them. And then you're going to knock the knees to the right, rock up onto the hip, and spin around as far as you can to look behind you. And then you're going to pull the pillows toward your hip bone, press them down closest to you, and just begin to drape the abdomen and then the chest down onto your pillows. Good. Now, if you want that blanket, you can bring it underneath the head. And again, the head can go in either direction, whichever one feels most supportive. You might switch it up. You might start in one direction and then change your mind, and that's okay to do. Good. Your arms are just hanging out next to the pillows. And settle in. Like the last exercise, this might not be the most comfortable thing on earth to start with, but as you relax, that comfort may come. So notice where you're finding effort in your body. Just see if you can relax it a bit, making micro movements to settle in a bit deeper. And even here in this restorative twist, you can bring some awareness and softness to your belly. Check in on your mind. Make sure it's not busy. It can be thinking things, but it's better that it's heading more toward kind of a lucid dream state versus a work state. Something more passive
versus something more active. If you find it in the active realm, again, just bring your awareness to your belly. Now, in a few moments, we'll begin to move. And when you're ready, you can deepen your breath. And placing the hands down on the floor, peel yourself away from your pillows and unwind. And just feel for a moment. It's okay if you feel a little drunk. That's pretty normal here. So to do the other side, all you have to do is take your pillows and change the angle to the other side. Get them kind of whereabouts you know you'll need them. And if you used a blanket as a pillow on the first side, that might be true here as well. Okay. So sitting tall, having your mat width apart, you're going to knock the knees to the left this time or in the opposite direction. Make sure you do the other side and spin around to look behind you. And then adjust the pillows as you need to so they're shooting off the hips at an angle behind you. Then pressing the pillows down, go ahead and just drape your body down over them. It's okay if this side is more open or tighter than the first. And again, you may need the blanket, you may not need it. Just have it nearby just in case. And again, the head can go in either direction, facing forward or rotating to look behind you. Looking behind you is a bit more intense, but if you can do it, good. Do it. Your arms can relax next to the pillows. And then again, you can make these micro movements, these little shiftings in the body to make yourself 10 to 15% more comfortable here so that you can really relax. Allow your belly to soften. And allowing gravity just to pull you deeper into this posture. This gentle rotation of the spine.
So in a few moments, we'll begin to move. You can allow that movement to start with the deepening of your breath. And when you feel ready, bring the hands to the floor and peel yourself away from the pillows and unwind. Feeling drunk again. Good. All right. So just take your time to feel as I set up for this next exercise. For this one, you'll need all three props again, or you may or may not. I'll show you and you can decide. At the very least, you'll need one pillow. But at the most, you'll need both pillows and a blanket. And so in a moment, we're going to come to lay down on our bellies. We're going to come into what's called restorative crocodile pose. And so in this setup, this blanket over here is going to be where my head is, and this pillow over here is going to be where my legs are, my feet are. And these are the two props you might not need, okay? So if any of these two props feel awkward, just get rid of them. Now, what you definitely will need is the pillow that's going to be underneath your chest when you come to lay down. When we come to lay down, we're actually going to fold the pillow in half long ways, or a hot dog bun. Going back to elementary school here. It's like folding paper, like a hot dog bun. So, and it might not stay that way but when you're getting set up, so you might have to adjust. But I'm going to come down onto my abdomen to start. And so if you're using the pillow behind you, you want it to kind of just support your ankles. Okay. So the knees are on the ground and the feet are lifting. Now, for the pillow that's going underneath your chest, you fold it in half and slide it really just underneath the chest itself so that your chest is lifted off the ground with support here. And your arms can cross underneath you, and you can bring the forehead to the back of the hands. Now, sometimes that's not comfortable. And if that's not comfortable, you bring that blanket on top of your hands and bring your head onto the blanket. Okay? So there's a few components here. If you're not already in it, I'll just walk you through it again. If you're in it already, just stay there. But again, you'll have a blanket or a pillow at the foot of the mat, a blanket at the head of the mat, and then bring your other pillow folded underneath your chest as you come to lay down on your belly. And having it folded like a hot dog bun, just slide it underneath your chest as much as you can, keeping the soft abdomen on the mat, but having your shoulders lifted. And then cross your arms in front of you and bring your forehead down onto the backs of the hands or arms. And if that's too far away, or just, sometimes our hands are bony, you can bring that folded blanket on top of your hands. And then make any micro movements to be 10 to 15% more comfortable in this posture. And then begin to feel the effort melt away. And even more so than our previous postures, I'd really encourage you to bring the breath to the belly, which might feel a bit counterintuitive here because the belly is pressing into the floor, but that's kind of the point. You want to feel the belly press into the earth on inhale and then relax away on exhale. It's doing a few things. One, it's signaling to your nervous system to lower your blood pressure and to calm you down. It's also giving a gentle massage to the internal organs at the soft belly and the muscles there. all the soft tissues. Relax, let go. Feeling the breath in the belly. Now, before we begin to shift from this posture, I really want you to take a snapshot of this setup, of how you're resting here. More so than any of the postures we've done tonight, this one is probably the most, from a nervous system perspective, the most restorative. If you're ever feeling hyper anxious, overwhelmed, burned out, stressed, or anything like that, come into this pose. You can do it without warming up. But let this be a tool you can take with you from this moment. We'll be shifting shortly. And when you're ready, allow yourself to take a deeper, fuller breath. Good. You can set the blanket aside, maybe roll to a side, coming up however you want to from here. It can be kind of an awkward pose to move out of. It's really bright out here. Close your eyes and just feel for a moment once you get to a seat, and keep taking your time if you're on your way. Good. And bringing your awareness back. So again, that last posture, more than any other yoga restorative posture is the most restorative because of how it interacts with your nervous system. So please do remember that one. Personally, it's helped me manage panic attacks and anxiety and all kinds of overwhelming feelings in my life. Um, so we are going to do Shavasana because it is a yoga class. But before we do, I want you to do just a quick forward bend. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy, and it's not going to be a restorative posture, mostly because we don't have time, but also because I want your body to feel okay when it comes to lay down. And so some options for you, if you're sitting cross-legged, you can just fold forward. If you want to, you can extend your legs forward and fold down. If you don't want to do it seated, you could lay on your back and hug your knees into your chest. Just spend 3 to 5 breaths in a forward bend of your choosing. And if you're not sure what to do, pick one. Just do like you can't make a bad choice. Good. So when you feel complete in that forward bend, go ahead and sit back up. I'll show you a setup you can do for Shavasana. That's our corpse pose or our final resting posture, if you want to. You don't have to use any of these props. You can come into it like normal. But for me, I'm going to have a blanket for a pillow. And my pillows are going to support my knees. And it could be one pillow, it could be both pillows, whatever works for you. So, what it could look like is this coming to lay down. And, the pillows are helping to support the knees, lifting the thighs pretty much off the ground. And this actually helps to support your lower back. So if you're one of those folks, and it's okay if you are, who, when you lay down on your back, you have lower back pain, this is what you do to help alleviate that lower back pain. So in this class or any class, this is what you can do. But again, if you don't want this, you can just move the pillows and just not have them there. Okay, so go ahead and come into a restorative shavasana of your choosing. Just let yourself unfold. Now we've just been relaxing for the last hour. I'm going to ask you to continue that trend. Just let go of effort in the belly, peace, peace, peace. Please begin to take a deeper, fuller breath, making gentle movements in your body as you bring yourself on back, rolling to a side before you bring yourself up. So once you're in a seat, bring your palms together and lower your chin. And just honor yourself for what you allowed yourself to not have to do tonight. Meaning, you allowed yourself to let go of effort versus efforting towards something. You actually let yourself step back and just be easeful. Doesn't mean it was easy, but easeful. That sort of willpower, that's strong. That's strong. So honoring yourself for that. And may all of this work or non work that we've done tonight and this practice continue to serve you. So until next time, namaste.